So, right, everybody, today welcome to the day 4 of the session. So, today we have this agenda. I have every intention to start with visit planning today because it takes a bit of time to understand the flows of visit planning, but I mean the functional flow of visit planning. Yeah, but the other ones that are before, we need to understand those before as well. That's why few hands-on, like sales org hands-on or org units hands-on, those are for homework. I will stop in those slides for a few seconds so that you guys can, stop in the recording and do the homework whenever you get time. The idea is to show you in the uh, in the demo org, but homework will, the work itself will take some time. That's why I have not included the work itself for you in the class. Okay, so before we start with the inventory data model, last week we had two questions which I told that this week we will cover. One was the upgrade of data model, and second was inventory data model. Anyways, I was about to cover inventory, but before that, upgrade of data model. So for upgrading the data model from basic to enhanced, there are, yes, as per the process, there are quite a few steps to go through. So whenever you upgrade to the data model, it's not only, you pay for it because the data model has different plans, payment plans, but there are a lot of steps to follow actually. If you see this, allow. So yeah, so if you see this help document, this will tell you technically how to go through the upgrade. There are
Um,
quite a few
Nani
steps
ma'am,
to go through.
sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. Are you
Yes.
speaking any?
Oh yes. I am not. I'm so sorry for that. Okay. Give me 1 second. I will share the entire screen. Okay. Hmm. Are you able to see now?
Just
Yes, it
yes.
is visible.
Okay. 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 Right. So I have given you this uh, link of help document. This is a very technical subject that, how do you upgrade to the managed package. So there are like upgrade processes here, and then you have to configure few pick list values, and then some, static resources has to be there, page layout, there are some field changes. So there are quite a few steps to how you do it. So it's not very straightforward if you have the basic data model and then when you upgrade to advanced. So that is why whenever you kind of go through with a customer how what their requirement is, try to understand their 5 to 10 years down the line plans and visions, so that you can decide properly that, if down the line 3 years or 2 years they would require the enhanced data model, or even later than that, instead of going for the basic first and then enhanced, that is going to be a quite a bit of work actually. So you have to think of that wisely what you do. So that was one question. The second question was inventory data model, and yes, we are going to go through inventory, how it works. So I'm going to inventory. So basically, when you first hear the term inventory, we all know what is inventory. So when anyone places an order in a shop, there is definitely a place where all those materials or goods are manufactured and kept, right? So that is a physical inventory, and there might be multiple levels of inventory. depending on the manufacturer and the distribution model, right? So in those places, there are some stocks and there are some accounts of those stocks kept either in an Excel sheet or some in some system. So that is called kind of inventory management, where whenever an order is placed, first, the system or you manually go and check whether that number of product is present in the inventory, and then you confirm that yes, this order could be confirmed. And then when the order is confirmed, you kind of subtract that number of product from the available products, right? And then keep that available product number in your system again for the next order to be placed. So this, what it does, it if it is done automatically in some system, the entire process, placing of an order and looking at the inventory and all, then it helps in better order management. So in Consumer Goods Cloud, we have a inventory management system, which has three types of inventories which you can look at. One is the traditional inventory. The other type is quota. Quota is to manage a limit. For a particular customer and for a particular product, you might have a kind of quota in your inventory, and that is what is set in a inventory. And the third type of inventory is cash flows, which is more of a payment collection from an order. Payment processes also uses inventory to assign the collected cash to the manufacturer. So these are the three basic types of inventories that are used. It is up to you how you use it, how much complexity your customer's inventory management would have. For the customer for whom I worked, they did not implement inventory management at all. They have inventory management in a different system, but for the first go, they did not go for inventory management because this is something which you may or may not implement in CG Cloud in the first go. So it depends on how you plan to implement it. So um, okay, so inventory management also. So if you see the CG Cloud, it has a lot of templates that it follows. And when I talk about templates, those are blueprints, like some kind of control you have on the entire record. Even inventory management has the same kind of controlling system. So it has inventory control template, which has a definition of how a inventory should behave. Like say in the inventory control template, you have few very important fields which are called something like this: inventory control measure, which is a unit of measure defined for the inventory. And then next important fields are applicable period for a particular inventory record. Like you can create a inventory record for an entire year, for a quarter, for a month, for a week. So when you create that kind of records, you will be using that particular kind of templates. When you want to create that kind of inventory record, which has a particular period of which that this particular product in the inventory will remain for a week or for a particular period of time. So if you know that, you can use that kind of applicable period in the template. So these are the types of questions you might like to ask when you are going for requirement gathering for inventory. And then you will have some fields like what is the product policy of this inventory would be, like whether it is a quota or a inventory. What is the period policy? Is it required to assign a period for this kind of inventory record? User policy, is it user relevant? It means, I mean, is it like the template or the record would be assigned to specific type of users, so that only they can view and use the inventory. So all of these kind of controls are there in the template. So if you see the flow here, in consumer goods, you have to create inventory control template. In turn, again, you have to create transaction template. And then after you create these, define these two types of templates, you may have multiple templates depending on your requirement. Then you create inventory record, and then you create transaction records. So all of these steps are important when you use inventory management. And definitely it's given that who does what, like your admin or your back office would be defining the templates, and your manager or supervisors, sales manager or supervisor would create the inventory records, and then inventory manager who will use the inventory day to day basis, they will create the transaction records. Even you can create these transaction records automatically as well. I think there are some flows, technical flows inside, which are used when orders are placed, and certain things are done, like confirmation of order and all, when these transaction records are automatically created. And definitely you can also create manual transaction records. Okay, if I go next, again, in the inventory transaction templates, it is a movement behavior that is defined here. Like inventory transaction, what type of inventory transactions are done? Like, are you adding, are you withdrawing? Is it neutral? Do you need to add or withdraw anything at the back end for a certain type of transactions? Maybe something is virtual and you do not need to do it. And then current to orderer, orderer to current, audit. So these kind of type of inventory transactions are there. So you have types of inventories and you have types of inventory transactions. um, you have transaction reference. So this is basically to use for in order template. If you have a transaction reference defined here in the template, you can use that reference in the order template, so that whenever that kind of order is placed using that order template, this transaction template will be used and the transaction records will be created. Um, yeah, so um, as per the flow, you create the templates first, and then based on those templates, the records are created. If you go to the next one, it is, I have shown the type of relationships that these objects might have. Yeah, say if you see the control template, the one control template might have multiple inventories, and then again, one inventory might have multiple transactions. If you have a main inventory somewhere for a manufacturer, you will have lots of inventory transactions happening there. You might have an order placed where inventory is subtracted, and you might have a return order placed where you might have inventory added. The manufacturer might be replenishing your product that is already kind of um, out of stock. So replenishing out of stock is also a kind of inventory transaction, right? So that is an addition transaction. So these are some examples which will which we have. And all of these inventory transactions which will follow a transaction template, whether it is plus or minus or what it is. Again, if you see one account, it has, I mean, all the inventory objects will have relationships with products and with accounts. So one account might have multiple inventories and a product also might have multiple inventories. So these two objects are directly related to inventory. It doesn't have a relationship with direct relationship with templates or the transaction itself. They have relationship with the inventory. Yeah, so here I have just, kind of jotted down that when you have inventory and inventory transactions for these records, what is inventory? It is record to track the products that reps deal, and these are the record types that you will see when you create an inventory, quota, cash float. And in each of these records you will see some certain kind of inputs are required, like sales org, inventory template, initial inventory count, allocated user, customer, vehicle, tour. So when I say required, it's not like technically required. These are some fields which are already there. And if you are using this feature, like if you are using sales or if you are using vehicles to be tracked in your CG Cloud system as well, then you can, put all those, you can bind all those factors together in the inventory record. Same goes for inventory transaction, uh, and it is like, what we have just discussed, that you can reduce the inventory in certain so if you create an order, inventory will be reduced. It will be a transaction record which is created automatically after an order is released. So in that transaction record, you will see, the previous count was 10 and now the count has become 8 if the order of quantity 2 is placed. So things like that you will see in inventory transaction records. um, I think in my CG Cloud, do I have I can do something like this, I guess. Where I will, ah, so these are, I can show you a few things like, these are the templates. This is the control template that you may have, as we discussed, that you will have record types for this. This one is for quota. And then you will have some policies like we just discussed. Do you have a vehicle relevant? Is this vehicle relevant? Is this user relevant? If it is user relevant, the record value would be 1. If it is not user relevant, it would be none. So the values are usually 1 or none, kind of boolean. Product policy is also there, it's the same. Customer policy is also there, same, 1 or none. So this is basically what is called inventory control template. And if you try to see inventory transaction templates, these also has, templates that you have here by default, and you can add your own templates. So you have cash addition template, you have add template, you have initial, you have balance template, loss, theft, void add, different types of templates which you will have. And if you see in each template, you have the sales org defined. You will have, inventory references, which you may define and use it in order. Um, what is a transaction control? Is it an addition template or what? See, transaction type is there. So if you edit this one, um, it is quite slow. Mm. So yeah, this is a pick list. So the transaction types are these. You can add, you can withdraw, you can see the balance, you can see the void, you can void it. So these are the types of, operations that may happen with help of this particular template. You have inventory records like this, and these are based on the control template. So these are the inventory records. Again, I mean, it is it is based on a particular template. It is going to behave in the way this template is organized. And then there are few other fields which you would see. You will see the period for which this transaction is valid. You will see the same sales org that is there in the. So for the template, whichever template is used, the sales org also should be same. I mean, whenever you create this record, you will see that the sales org would be same, should be same. And if it is created automatically with the help of this template, this will automatically become the same sales org. So whenever manual records are created with help of template, be it inventory, be it visit or anything or activity, you would have to see that the sales orgs are same, the customers are same. So all those factors play a big uh, important role. It will only work internally if all those parameters are same. So if you go to the help doc, there are lots of links of help docs in my PPT. You will see everywhere it is written that these are the conditions of making this feature work. So consumer goods cloud is a very complex data model, very complex functionality. So keep on keep in your mind that whenever some of you is implementing it, you would keep in mind that those factors are all taken care of. Like sales orgs are same as the template and the record. Sometimes the templates are bind together, like an activity template and a visit template are all bound together. So you will have to see whether all the parameters of those two templates are same. So this is something that I just told you as a tips, that we have faced a lot of difficulty in seeing the features working because these things were not taken care of. Hmm. Yeah, so when you go to the inventory record, in related, you will see the child records as transactions. So if you see this amount and balance and all of these are, you would be able to see these things. So this is inventory. And if do you have any questions on inventory management?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
one thing I want to ask that whenever audit happens,
Hmm.
the CPA or CA will, query the data from the consumer group level. Okay, then the
Hmm.
balance sheet, no balance sheet required.
Hmm. Right. I mean, is it a question like is
I
anything
mean,
required? Huh.
yes, yes. I mean, asking from where the CPA would see the balance sheet.
Yeah, that is more of a report. I mean, if you have these records
Hmm,
there here in inventory,
hmm,
for inventory, you would be seeing the counts of
hmm,
the products, and then you have
hmm,
seen that in the data model that
hmm,
product is related to the inventory. So whenever you
yes,
have the reports being created, you
hmm,
will have the inventory. You will be able to pull the the products that are part of that inventory,
hmm,
and when you pull the product, you will also have the product pricing that is there in the for each product. So you would be
hmm,
able to pull those that kind of records which are the that I had 100 products and the price was probably 5,000 for it.
hmm,
And now after placing order of 10 units, now I have 90 products
hmm,
and the price is 900.
yes.
So that kind of report you would be able to pull and manage. Yes, that you can do.
Okay, okay.
So I have worked in a project which is more of a which used more of a data model of field service,
Hmm, hmm,
where we had done inventory management. It is not exactly similar. The data model is not exactly similar, but more or less the same thing was we have seen the same thing, and the same operations happen at the back end, adding and uh, subtracting. And you can create analytical reports from all these data model that you can see. That's why in inventories I have also added product and account, because
mm,
these are some important things that you would be looking for when you manage inventory also in CG Cloud. Which account an order is placed, and then for that order what inventory transactions are there, what
mm,
was the amount before, and what is the balance amount, what is the price of the amount before, and what is the balance amount. So
mm.
all those could be pulled from the
Ma'am,
reports.
one more thing I want to ask that you
Hmm.
said earlier that there was a quota
Hmm.
for per customer. Is there any
Hmm.
field in the inventory object of as quota?
Hmm. Right.
Quota?
Record type.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Record type. So when you create that inventory record,
Mm,
you have to select the quota inventory type, and you have to select the same template if you are creating the record manually.
mm,
And if there is a flow that is being triggered at the back end, then it will depend on the template that is being used, that the record type will automatically become quota. So these are the things that you will have to keep in mind when you create the
That means
records.
the quota is basically for in B2B business. The quota is that I
Hmm.
am particular sending a particular commodity to
Hmm.
a business owner in
Hmm.
certain amount. I will not
In
send
certain
more than
amount.
that.
Yes, more than that. Yes. So many businesses have like that, that you have to send, in one order, you can only send 100 packets
Mm,
of,
mm,
say,
mm. Yes.
juices or milk. So that kind of quotas limitations are there.
Mm, mm,
Yeah. Right. So this is inventory management, and you can very well do it in Consumer Goods Cloud. Um, okay. How much time did we? Okay, fine. So I will go to the next stage, which is basically setting up and configuring CG Cloud. We would have gone through this before, but uh, first going through the data model was more important, because setting up is more very much technical thing, and you can do it easily from the help document, and also from the CG Cloud demo itself. You can see how it is done. But I'll first go through the slides. Like, we will have some pre-installation tasks. Like, we have to enable retail execution. Where do we do it? We do it here. Enable retail. I think here. Yes. So in the setup, if you just type in retail, in your org or whatever you have license you have got, if you open that, if you type in retail, you will have the option of setting up. You will have this option, retail execution, and you will have, this is a toggle of retail execution. You can switch on and switch off. And then you will have some options like make products that are associated with any account in retail stores account hierarchy available to that retail stores. So it depends on your solution. If you want to if you want to use retail stores, then you have to switch on this, and if not, then it's up to you that with how what you want to use. And then share visits, it is deprecated, it says. So to continue sharing visits and access related records, implement custom sharing. So there are few things which is already deprecated, and Salesforce says that you have to use their replacement technical steps to do it. So not only this, now these are all pre-installation tasks. Okay, now these are, yeah, sharing settings and all will be there. And then in the sharing settings, it is very important for the assortment, to do the product assortment object, to do the sharing setting as public read only, and all those things. Next is you have to enable account team, and then enable translation workbench if you are working with multi language customers. And there are some steps to do it. All of these are not mandatory. It depends on how your customer operates. And then yeah, there are some very hardcore technical things like adding or removing Apex approval process logs. There you will have to configure some Apex settings, create user profiles, and all of these are available in your help document, which you would be able to follow. And then there is this uh, yeah. So you will have to go to this particular site and then you have to install Consumer Goods Cloud package. So you can install for admins and then install for all users, install for specific profiles. So you can, do all these things and you can see the version, which version you are installing and all. So if you see here, we have the uh, package, application pack managed package, I think. So package install packages. If you see here, this is a demo org, right? So it will be installed already. That is why we could see all those objects. So it is like if you see here, it is Consumer Goods Cloud, which is there now. It does not expire. It is active. Uh, and also the version number is 254. Yeah, so it was installed on a certain date, and there are 233 objects and tabs, etc. So you could see the install packages and manage licenses here. What licenses are there? Consumer Goods Cloud Publisher allowed licenses are unlimited. So all those things you would be able to see um, once you install it. Here, yeah. So after installing, you would see this Consumer Goods Cloud Setup Assistant. So these are all post-installation steps that you will need to go through. You can do a patch upgrade. So time to time, whenever if you are doing a maintenance of Consumer Goods Cloud implementation, then time to time you might have to go and check what upgraded patches are there, and you would be able to see it here in this particular site. If you go, you will see what is the current version number, and you would see instead of installation you will see an upgrade button here. So time to time you might have to do an upgrade. um right, so once you do the activating of your package, there would be some uh, there are some hands-on which I have put in for homework. But yeah, what I wanted to show you is this one. So this very clearly shows that when you configure the retail execution here, once you have the package and all, you have to set up the permissions. You have to prepare your org for Consumer Goods Cloud, and then you have to create pages. You have to set up action plan template. You have to set up your store. You have to set up visits for your store. So even if you do not go through the uh, go through this any kind of training, you might still be able to do it if you are able to follow the help. That's why the help documents are given, right? So like this. However, to understand what these are, you might have to go through the recording once again when you do it. So there are a lot of resources here in the package itself, which you can go through. So if you go one by one, you have buttons for this, and once you have already done all these, these are all activated, then you go to the next step, and step by step, sequence by sequence, all of these are activated. So this is with respect to the setup and installation. uh, our next sorry Our next slide is for hands-on, and sorry, this one. Our next slide is for hands-on. In this, hands-on is kind of easy, but I would say do it in your, home. Do it as your homework, and I would expect that you would probably do it, because why it looks like it is easy just to create some records, creating retail stores for Delhi, and for each record you can have, for an example, you can have such and such inputs given. um, why it is important? Because when we did this hands on, we could see that if you want to create a retail store, what are the mandatory fields that you have to fulfill, and when you have to fulfill those mandatory fields, you have to create other records as well. So if I go here, if I want to show you a demo of how retail stores are, how those records look like. If you go to retail stores here and try to create a new retail store, you would be seeing that you should be creating a new location first. So if you do not have a location record, you will have to kind of create a new location record, and when you try to create a new location record, again you will see that there are a lot of types and all are required. Visitor address, all of these things are kind of, you would come to know that what are the things that comes into play. And see, you will have to give the account, the parent account for which you are setting up this. You will have to search for a store group, like you can see GlobeCon retail store group that I have created. So if you want to create a, say, South Calcutta GlobeCon retail store, you will have to group it under the GlobeCon retail store group, right? So, or it might be a South Calcutta retail store group as well, GlobeCon retail store group as well. So, group might have its own hierarchy, and then you might have a retail store under it. So you will have, if you go through these, you will be able to understand how these records behave in itself. If I go to all, if you see these examples, it says Byte flagship store Berlin, and the account is Byte Berlin. So this might be the parent account, which is a kind of company, and it is part of Berlin country, and the retail store group is by Germany. So this kind of hierarchies, or one after the other, what comes before and what comes after, you would be able to see in this in this hands-on if you do it. So you can have your own records, but I have given some examples which you can use. I think this was
Mhm.
this we don't require. This is a blank one. And once you create your retail stores, you if you want to, I mean, this is one second your master data, which is a product data. You can create some product also which you want to sell as part of your GlobeCon company's product. You can have some FMCG products, right? Toothpaste, face moisturizer, hand cream, and all those things. So how products are set up, how you can set up their pricing model, these are mainly part of Salesforce core. If you have experience, it would become easier for you. Yeah, so any questions on this?
Uh, Store retail group, as you said earlier, is
Mm.
this a branch of the store?
Group,
I mean,
when we are grouping retail store
what
group.
is retail store group? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, retail store group is, in your previous in our previous data model, when we were discussing account, we discussed this, that is that retail store group is something that it will depend on your business how you group certain stores. Um, say you have Metro Cash and Carry as an account,
mm,
and Metro Cash and Carry says that I will, have my own retail stores in all parts of Calcutta.
mm,
And I have four sides of Calcutta, like south, north, east, and west.
mm.
And each side, I will have a group of stores. When I say group of stores, their operating model will be like that. I mean, a manager, sales manager, will be sitting for each, each side of Calcutta. So one manager might be managing South Calcutta, all the South Calcutta stores. There might be 100 stores in South Calcutta, and for him to pull all the data of the stores that resides in South Calcutta, he needs a group record. So under that group, all the stores would be grouped of him, South Calcutta groups. So these groups might be a physical, geographic kind of group, like I told, South Calcutta, North Calcutta. Or it might be something else. It might be, miscellaneous. Some companies might have sending their products to uh, certain
I mean, ma'am,
uh,
which it depends on the broader aspect, right?
yes, it depends on how they do their business. You might a company might have their own retail stores. That
Mm,
kind of grouping also might be done.
mm,
That I will do a group on my own retail stores, and I will also do a grouping on miscellaneous, those kirana shops or corner shops, off license shops, where my products are sold, but there are competitor products are also there.
mm,
So that kind of grouping can also be done. So it depends on how your customer does business.
yes, yes.
Okay. And you are free to not to use also retail group if your customer is happy to operate in that way. Okay. Okay, next is yeah. So next is multi-market model. So why I'm going through all of these before coming to visits, because again, depending on business, these are the things that you should ask questions and you should decide when you implement. um, Multi-market model tells you about the sales org. When I was going through the records of inventory and all, you would have seen that there is a field called sales org, and the values are generally 001, 002, 0001, like that. So Salesforce gives you this capability to manage the markets. Um, like a particular company, your company which uses the consumer goods, it might have its operations in multiple markets. And when I say multiple markets, it might be in different countries, it might be different cities, or it might be different parts of the cities, and there they might have their own go to market strategies. So whenever the go to market strategies differ from a particular region to another particular region, we generally call it different markets, right? And the processes will vary for that markets. What kind of templates you use, or what in the system, what kind of templates you would use, or what type of records would be there, those will vary depending on your go to market strategies, depending on the markets, right? That is why Salesforce has given you this division of sales orgs. Now, this slide is mostly on business, that why a company will use a multi-market strategy, because they might have a competitive advantage, they might have a revenue diversification theory in them, they might have thought of having a multi-market because they want to increase their efficiency and scale in certain areas in certain different ways. Okay, in South Calcutta, certain different products might go faster, whereas in North Calcutta, certain type of products and stores might be, more effective. So that kind of strategies will depend on these kind of business KPIs which is there. So when you are going for gathering your requirements, you would be asking these kind of questions, so that you would be able to understand whether you would use sales org, how many sales org you would use, what would be the strategy for each sales orgs, and all those things. Okay, so there are some challenging factors also if sales orgs are used, which you would again like to discuss with your customer of consumer goods. You will say that, if we use sales org, these are the limitations and challenges that you might have. Okay, so this is the gist of multi-market model. And when we are coming up with multi-market model, we would be setting up with Salesforce, as I say. So as I said, so in Salesforce, they define multi-market models with Salesforce. What they do with Salesforce is they filter data and business processes, um, manage multiple markets with a single Salesforce org by filtering data and configurations by market. So this will avoid creating multiple Salesforce org, right? So instead of created one Salesforce org for Calcutta, one for Delhi, one for other metro cities, it is advisable to have one Salesforce org and then having multiple sales org divisions in the same physical org so that it can operate in different regions. Global template approach. So you might be using a common template for all. You if you have a common template for a certain feature for all of these sales orgs, then you would be able to create only one record instead of having different records in different orgs. Centralized setup and enhanced data model process, enable process limitations. So there are some limitations of using sales orgs. It will not support retail stores, it will not support few things like assessment tasks, action plans, or retail store KPIs. So if you are hell-bent to use retail store features, then you would not be probably able to use sales org. So this is a limitation here, and Salesforce is evolving this particular mm, product, their consumer goods product. Maybe in future they will come up with they will remove this limitation, but right now you have it. And when you again when you gather the requirement, you will have to kind of think about it, that how you will implement, whether you would implement sales org or you would implement retail store, because you can see that these are, those are not compatible. So in our implementation, we implemented sales org because definitely our consumer was a global our customer was a global customer. He had different hundreds of markets. So we had to divide their markets in as per their countries, and then those markets were all taken care of by sales org. So we did not implement retail store. We have instead implemented account and child accounts. So even a store will act as a child account. So we have implemented general account hierarchies and have taken care of their retail stores through accounts. This is also one solution approach that you can have without using the retail stores. But if you are using multiple sales orgs for their multiple markets, sometimes you might have to use, or if your customer says that I have only one market to implement with the consumer goods cloud, then you might think of not using sales org and thinking and think of using retail stores. Yeah, so this is a kind of use case that if a company operates in different countries and it has multiple retail channels, slightly different products, not entirely different, but their go to market strategies are significantly different, then they have two options. One is create separate Salesforce org and CG Cloud sales org for each country. And the second is create a single Salesforce org with separate CG Cloud Salesforce orgs. So this might be, two different options that a company might have. So if you have use case like this, that retail channels are different, products are slightly different, and strategy business process are substantially different, then you might have to use dedicated Salesforce org. I mean multiple Salesforce orgs per country, because you cannot have anything in common. Almost 90% of your configurations will be different, so you cannot manage it with only sales org. So you might have to use all everything, before, at the back end that runs might be different. So most fit option is one, use dedicated Salesforce org. But again, if you go to the second use case, Alpine Group operates in multiple European countries, but retail channels are almost same. Products are slightly different, and their GTM strategy business processes are different, but they have something in common per country. Most fit is option two. Use one Salesforce org and CG Cloud sales orgs, and I mean different CG Cloud orgs to segment your business. So when you have this kind of use cases, you would see that your market is different. Like you may have a market in Delhi, and you might have a market in Calcutta. And how you differentiate these markets is basically with your customer segment, or your uh, segmentation, things that could be taken care of by sales org. Like your GTM strategy is a bit different, but mostly same. So with the same segment and same rules that you are, say you might have similar rules for inventory and all. So with the same rules and same flows, you can manage. So this is one use case where sales orgs will come into play. Okay, and then multiple business segments. Alpine US has different brands and products serving different retailers with different sales rep using different GTM strategies and different processes. So again, I mean, even if they look all different, but all of this could be taken care of in one Salesforce org by using different sales orgs. So yeah, so these are some use case examples that could be use. Now you would try to understand that how I will understand whether it is multiple org or one org with. So if you have to segment your account data, then offline users can be assigned to one sales org. So if you have different sales org like 1, 2, and 3, you would have users assigned to different sales orgs. And one user, once he logs in into the Consumer Goods Cloud, your app, he would be operating only in the premise of this sales org. So whichever customers are assigned to this sales org, or whichever business processes are running under this sales org, he would be only able to access and use those. Master data such as accounts and products are related to one sales org. So accounts and products, I mean, one account cannot belong to different sales org. So if you have to create if you see that your single account is going to belong to different sales org, then you might have to resort to create two accounts, saying that this is for this market and that account is for that market, like that. Transactional data such as orders, promotions are all sales org specific. So whenever you create those uh, records, you might have to look at the sales org, that for which account you are creating that order, which Sales org, those accounts are belonging to, and to the same sales org, the order will also belong to. So this is how, the for a particular sales org, the CG Cloud would work. So when a head of a country or head of the region will pull the reports, he might have to pull the report for the entire sales org to get a sight of his own market. Hmm. So yeah, these are the data segmentations that you can do: accounts, products, user assignment. Okay, customer templates, product templates. So all of these will have, sales orgs defined. And we also saw that inventory templates are also sales org specific. We will, see in future that even activity templates and visit templates, all of them has, sales org defined inside those. So you have this feature, which is very important to implement. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, in the same way that in enhanced data model, most of your business processes will have templates, which contain the metadata that define the details of each process, and all of these templates are tied up to sales org, and each sales org will have its own process configuration, and business template settings can be enhanced to activate project specific configurations. So basically, for from one sensor to other, the business processes will differ, and you can make varied own your own process configurations, and assign them to each templates and sales orgs. So that is how the sales org will work. Yeah. So this is one data model of sales org. Sales org. One sales org will have sales org users, and users are, kind of tied up to sales org. So this is a consumer goods cloud object. Now if I go here, sorry, mm, in our here, sales org, sales org. Sales org should be here already. Mm, Sales organization. So it's here somewhere. Yeah, sales org maintenance. Where is it? Mm. So sales organization, you would see here. Right. If you see, it is already given 1, 2, and 3 US sales or Canada food, Canada beverage. So you have some examples how you can have different sales org. For a single country, you might have food and beverage, which is, different. It means you might have some different business processes for these two products. And you can see, as an example, for some of your customers, you might have just based on the country. So if you go to this sales org, you will see the value is this, and you might have a particular price list type for this sales org, and you might have a different price list type for a different one. Currency might vary. Your head office address, and then your payment information, like the tin, the tax identification number, your main account number, where the payments will go and from where the payments will come. So all of these, we will have promotion settings, you will have trade calendar settings, you will have calculation settings of how the organization works. All of these will depend on your sales org. So if you see this sales org related, you would see users. Which users are assigned to these sales org? When these users operate, they will only operate on the accounts that are again, associated with a particular sales org. So if you see this users, so you will see that. The sales organization is 0001. Your default visit template. So whenever this user goes for a visit and creates a visit, the default template will be this. And definitely you can change it, but the default template will be assigned to this to a visit. And then when this user, this is very important for a particular sales org user, that when this user starts working in a day, and when this user ends working in a day, when what are the days this user uses, based on this, when you do the planning, visit planning, all the visits will reflect. So all the future visits that falls under this category, like say Monday till Friday, Saturday also, this one, from 8 to 5, if the automatic visit falls under this category, then it will be planned visit. You will see the status will be planned. But then if you want to schedule any visit out of this time, say a person might be working out of this time for certain reasons, or maybe even on the holidays, it will see it is unplanned, the status would be unscheduled or something like that. So you will have to again uh, take care of these things, that the I will not see that particular visit in planned category if you have a filtered list or something, because you will have it as unscheduled. So this is very important to set up users timings based on which the visits will appear. So sales org and sales org users, very important. um, I will just show that when you go through sales org, you can add a new sales org user as well, and you can select any user and add it, put their settings on. And also you can kind of as an admin, and this capability, okay, setting up a sales org and editing the sales org, this capability should only belong to the back office or the admin, because these are the base of the consumer goods. Sometimes the reps might be working in different timings in different seasons, so or in different weeks or in different months. So the back office user has to manage their timings, right? So only the back office user should be able to do all these things. They should be having access to all these records, not the user itself, because the user should not be given the capability to change his or her own time. So generally the users will tell the managers will tell the back office managers or the admin to manage their changed things, anything, if anything is changed. If a new user comes to joins the organization, and he needs to be assigned to a particular market, then the user has to be added. And you can see that at one time a user should be added to only one sales org. So I, as a sales user, cannot work in South Delhi and North Delhi. If you are managing South Delhi and North Delhi by two sales orgs, then I cannot do it, because mine is only one. I can only work for one. So if I prefer to work, that I will work for, if that kind of arrangement is there with the company, that I will work for 1 month in South Delhi and the next month in North Delhi, then that kind of management has to be done by the back office. That is why when Consumer Goods Cloud is implemented, you will have to definitely think about the persona of back office or admin who would be managing all these. His job is not only to configure flows, or to configure technical things. He is going to configure all these operational things at the back end regularly, day in and day out. Yeah. So this is all about sales org. Now there is one more feature called org units. Okay. Sales org, I'm not going through how you create a sales org. It's just like creating yeah, sales org and create a new, and you can create a new sales org. You have all these steps. I will not go through these. Okay, this is again another one. Org units is also very important factor in consumer goods. These are mainly the smallest part of an organization, such as branch offices, departments, arranged as a parent child structure. They can be based on location or business function to help manage teams easily. So, in an enhanced model, org units play this kind of role. Customer data synchronizations, offline visit planning. It is more efficient if you have org units. If you have team supervision and coordinations, you have a huge company um, which operates in various countries, in various cities, in various parts of the cities. Just like you will have your sales org as part of your selling strategy, as part of your team management strategy, also, you might have set up org units. But yes, setting up org units is again, this one is not mandatory. Like for we have our implementation, we have not used org units at all. We have used parent child account, and we have used sales orgs. So that was enough for us. But for certain business, you might find that org units is also useful, where mainly you will have more customer segmentation, defining the regional or national promotions. Maybe certain promotions you only provide in certain region, which you cannot manage by one single sales org, so you might have org units there. Yeah. Again, if you have a deep dive in org unit, it is again a hierarchical organization structure, and you can have, like you had a sales org, in USA. You might have org units like Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, Southeast, and you might have Florida and Georgia under one uh, region. And then again, you might have users only assigned to Florida, user assigned to Georgia, and you will have managers assigned to their top level, so that he can see the users uh, below below their own region. Org units are sales org dependent, market specific, and field users and stores are typically assigned to org units, lowest level. So if you are going to use, org units, then you might have to, see that how you are assigning the users to org unit. Again, assigning the area managers and supervisor to the top level, level above the user, whoever they are managing. There they have to be assigned. So this is a kind of deep dive. And not only that, you will have some kind of, batch processes which are there in consumer goods cloud, which you might have to schedule if you use org unit hierarchy. So there are batch processes which is assigning users such as customer managers. But yes, these, it's not that if only you use org unit hierarchy you will uh, activate those. These are the automation solutions which you have to activate, because you will be using customer manager in visits. So, what is customer manager? For an account, customer managers are the people who own the planning and visits. If a user is assigned to a customer as a customer manager, he can plan a visit and execute, and that visit is going to appear in his visit list. So, just to does anyone have any question?
Ma'am, actually, org unit, you can
Hmm.
you said earlier, that is the I can I mean that is for breaking the org in different smallest parts.
Hmm.
It can be done in two ways, like by creating a parent-child object
Hmm.
and other process is, I mean, do not understand the other process.
Okay. No, no, that I was talking about sales org. So
Hmm.
sales org, you have two options. One was, create one physical Salesforce org,
Hmm.
and under that Salesforce org, you will have Sales org 1, Sales org 2, Sales org 3.
Okay,
Sales
okay.
org 1, yeah, like that. And but if you have very different business process for all of the areas or markets you have
Hmm.
your customer, then it is advisable to use multiple Salesforce orgs, because you might not be able to use the common templates. Okay,
Hmm.
because say for a visit, you will be requiring a visit template, and if the visit templates vary different, I mean, and it is just only one visit template that you can assign. So in that cases, in those kind of cases, one sales in a single Salesforce org may not suffice. So you might have to go for different Salesforce org for those. So that is the two processes. And that is not org unit, that is sales org. And org
Hmm.
unit is again different thing. So it is a bit confusing when you talk about both of the things, sales org and org units. I will come to the difference of what is the difference between sales org and org units. Um, Org unit, if you see the data model, is much more granular. You will see that for each org units you might have a different segment of customers. You will have different users, just like sales orgs also you had different customers, right? And you will have a hierarchy, so you might have different small departments which are created in your in your implementation as org units hierarchy. And then you might have segmentation rules for each org unit. You might have customer segmented based on certain rules, which you might be using, because your customers behave differently in different areas. So you will have all these customer set manager, customer set customer for an account. So even if you do not use org units, you would be able to use segmentation rules for your customers. But this is very tightly coupled with org units. If you use org units, the operation will be very efficient. But again, it depends on if your implementation needs such granular operations. Okay. We will go to the next one, which is this is kind of summary. Uh, you can go through this later on. It is uh, different users in org units, different customers. You can define some relationships. Supervision is easier. You might have time dependent relationships in a particular org unit. A user might be there for a certain time and then might go to another org unit, and a certain org unit might also have a validity period. For a certain promotional period, you might have org unit. So it all depends on how. So these are just the features that CG Cloud has given you. But sales org is very important. I mean, most you will see all your implementations, 99% of your implementations will have sales org, because customers will have different markets, and you will have to define those markets through different sales orgs, unless you go for different physical Salesforce orgs. Okay, yeah, so here,
Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
again,
Ma'am, could you
tell me.
please tell me where to go after going to set up in what settings we have to go to create a sales org?
For what? Sorry, I didn't
For
get it.
creating a sales org, after
For
going to
creating a
set up,
sensor, right? Hmm. I think for creating
you
a,
you shown that slide. I
yeah, yeah,
didn't.
yeah, I remember. I think here we have here.
Yeah. This
Yeah, so if you, yeah, so this is for creating a different sales org. So there are some sales org that is given in Consumer Goods Cloud, but you might have to define more sales orgs. So that is where you have to add the sales org in the pick list values. You know, these are the things that you have to, you can do a hands-on when you are free, some pre-work. And if you have already done this, then it is, just a matter of time that you just go here, sales org, and you create a new sales org here. You will get the value from the ones that you have just done in pre-work. So here, I mean, I'm talking about this pick list. If you have to create another sales org with 0004, that is what is given here. Yeah, they, this is like this. It is a business area, you can see.
so this
Yeah,
is
so
0005 is the ID, I mean prefix of the ID, right? ID of
yes,
Salesforce.
yes, yes, yes. This is how Salesforce, gives, tells you to
For
do
the
the
orgs.
Salesforce. Right. And you can give a different name. Definitely. I mean, when you create it in records in your sales org as a new record, you can give, East Calcutta, West Calcutta, things like that. You can do it like that. But your values will be this. This is what you're do. Hmm. Okay. We have gone through org units as well. Okay, so the confusing thing is basically how do you differentiate sales org or org units? So there are some aspects that sales org and org units suffices. So in CG Cloud, processes that sales org drives are which products can be sold in particular, accounts, which promotions apply, which price lists apply, which planning data is visible. And what org unit drives more is which customers a rep sees, which visits a rep plans, which targets a rep owns, or which execution data a rep captures. So basically, these are the two very important things that you might have to define. And these are the aspects, again, this is a bit more deep dive that you might have to see that uh, yeah, so sales org is more, on top of the hierarchy, organizational hierarchy. How a organization operates, how your customer operate, it might be per country, but org units might be small departments in each country. That's why it might be many. Org units will have its parent and child, but sales orgs are flat. Sales org doesn't have any dependency, like your customer, your customer sales org of Calcutta and customer sales org of Delhi. They might not be dependent at all with each other, and that's why you decide that okay, I'll create two sales org for this, not two org units. But inside Calcutta, you might be able to define, departments like maybe skincare department, might be food and beverage department. A single company might be catering to all these different kind of products. So you might have, org units depending on those kind of departments which you want to, kind of show by org units. So you can do that. Again, ERP mapping, yes. I mean, whenever you map SAP with SAP, which is generally ERP system for all the existing your customers might be. So they also have something called sales org, and you can directly map our Salesforce sales org to SAP sales org. And if you have org units in ERP, they have something called sales hierarchy where you will have to map the org units. Again, where it is used, sales org is used in pricing, assortments, promotions. Org units are used in visits, targets, routing. So for each department, you might have a different target customer, you might have the routing is different, you might have different types of visits. It's not that you cannot have these based on sales org, because for some customers you might not have at all org units. Like we did not have any org units. We have kind of shunned that feature at all, absolutely shunned that we will not have any org units, because it just creates more granularity and sometimes more complexity. So depending on how your customer will like to have it, you will have to do it in that way. User assignment and customer assignment, and reporting. If you have org units, you will have to do the customer units via org units. Uh, Reporting, org performance and territory performance. Yeah. So for reporting, if you have just the sales org, you will have you will have to pull up for each sales org. This is the sales, this is the orders, etc. But if you have org units, you will be having the capability to do it in a more granular level. Like for the sales org for Calcutta, I have different org units, like maybe for this particular company, I have skincare org units, and the sales is like this, for the orders is like this. And food and beverages, I have the order like that, and sales like that. So this kind of divisions, when you do the analytics, is possible. So depending on how granularity your customer allows, they might have managers for each department, and each manager might be needing that kind of granularity, so you might have to use org unit for that. Yeah, so this is all about the difference. Where is the Okay, so org unit, do I have the org unit here? Organization units. Give me 1 second. Yeah, org units. So if you see org units, yes. So org units also belong to a particular sales org. And if you go here they have created the org units based on the US states. Like Alabama is a state where their org type is sales, and it is org level. See, they have differentiated it like it is a sales office. It might be some other office type of org level. If you see this, see, it is sales office. Sometimes it is a sales rep, sometimes those are clients. How you want to differentiate your org units, if it is based on clients. So all of these you can do it.
And
And
what are
then,
the type? What are the pickles
okay,
values of type?
yes, the types are sales, service, marketing.
Okay.
You might have others as well. I mean, you have to just create those.
Hmm.
And you will have the hierarchy. As a child object, you will have the hierarchy. So parent org unit hierarchy. So parent org unit might be Southeast, and you can see under Southeast you might have the child. So if you go to Southeast org units, you these are all their child org units, like this. And you might have your customer org units. See, these are customer org unit, and it belongs to the Southeast org unit. So you might have different types of configurations done in your CG Cloud org depending on your requirement. Okay. Uh, yeah. So this is org unit. Okay. So we have, yeah. So I was intending to kind of delve into visit. Hmm. So, hands-on exercise, like just a couple of seconds, I'll stop here because seeing this, you might be doing the mm, hands-on. So, for doing the hands-on, you would be setting up users and profiles, and there would be a lot of permission sets that that you would be setting up. And then set up org units also, you will have lots of help links. Set up org units, set up org unit hierarchy, add customers to org units, users to org units. So all of those would be part of your org unit setup. And it says that, first you have to, I mean, it is very basic. First you have to set up the user. For each user you have to set up some profile. Either you give profile permission or user permission. What kind of permissions you give? In the day one resource you have the permission sets, and the link is given that these kind of permission sets are required for this kind of personas. So you will have to set up those users. And then you can, kind of for each store, you have already set up stores maybe before this hands on, you have done this. Then you can create org units and sales orgs and assign all those. So this is a kind of hands on that you can do in the backend in this week. You can set up some users, some stores, some accounts, products, master data those are. And then you can set up sales org and org units. You can just see that what are the dependent factors. When you go to create a certain thing, you will encounter those. So this is a very good practice. This would be a very good practice for you. Okay. Yeah, so visit planning, personas, and options. Hmm, I have not given you any break because, again, we do not have a lot of time left for the training, and we must delve into visit planning. So it is very concise training. Actually, we had 3 hours training every day for 15 days in our training. I would say that much was not required, but this is a very concise one. That is why today again, I mean, it was we will try to finish this part and then give you some time back. Okay, is that okay with all of you?
Ma'am, can I take just 2 minutes?
Yeah, that is fine. I mean, I can give you 2 minutes break. Let's come out of this and have a 2 minutes break.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, let me know when you guys are in. Are you in?
Yes, Chandra ma'am. I am in.
Okay. How about Sandipan? Is not yet in.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, fine. So yeah, let's go through this. We do not have a lot of time, but let's see how much we can do. So, yeah. So before we do visit planning, what we learned before was, for consumer goods cloud, we have to go in sequence. What are those sequence? The sequence is, you have to set up the consumer goods cloud, and then you have to set up all the master data. When I say master data, it is account, retail stores, etc. at one side. The other side is basically product that you are going to sell in those stores or from that manufacturer, price list, etc. There is another side which is, inventories, where you keep the count of the products. And then, there are other core functionalities, like how you do order management and how you do visit management. But unless you have all these master data done, you would not be able to do that. Now, order management, you guys almost know, and it is mostly part of sales, Salesforce core. So if you have worked on this, you would know that, how quotes and orders work. um, and again, Salesforce has its own OMS system as well. um, but then visit comes after all of these, because to understand visit, all of these are very tightly coupled. That's why to understand visit, you should always go through all these business processes first, and then come to visit. So when you go to your customer for gathering requirements. You will first gather requirements about how their stores are organized, how they, what are their accounts, what account will be for billing, which account they use for billing, and in future what they want to use, and what are the products they want to sell in those stores that should be in the consumer goods cloud, etc. They should be coming to the first phase of your requirement gathering, and your second phase of your requirement gathering is the central part, which is visit planning. So once you know all these, you would be able to understand that, okay, which should we go with, your architect would be able to tell, should you go with sales org, should you go with kind of org units, etc. So now visit planning is our central part of our understanding. And when you do a visit planning, what are the personas that you have? So visits have, two things. One is planning and second is execution, right? So planning is done by the supervisor. Supervisor all plans the visits for the team, for his own, for the team and for his own schedule, and back office will set up that plan. So generally the sales manager will tell the back office or the admin that, this is my plan for my team and this is how you set it up. Sales rep sales rep will plan visits for his own schedule. So sales rep will have a kind of schedule which is given by the back office, but yes, he is free to create his own schedule, because something that is planned might not go as planned on the day. So he can, the previous day sales reps can plan some visits. Again, for visit planning you have different options in desktop and in offline mobile app. In general, in 90% of the cases, these options on desktop are used by the supervisors and back office and admins. But in the offline mobile app, the sales reps are the people who would work on the offline mobile app, and they can schedule visits from the offline mobile app as well. So generally, the back offices or admins, not admins, technical admins, but the back offices or even not the managers will have access to the offline mobile app. So the sales managers will have access to the data anyways, because the mobile app is going to sync the data to the desktop and he would have all the data. So the planning happens in desktop, execution happens in the mobile app, but yes, planning can also happen in mobile app. You can see that in desktop you will have, lots of options to create, to create these visits. So when the back office plans a visit, so the back office would have customers and users assigned to the sales org, where the back office is catering to. So if I am a back office person, I cater to sales org 1, which is probably, uh, sales Calcutta sales org for me. And I have some customers segmented for me, and I have the users or sales reps who works for, this sales org, Calcutta sales org. And I might have, org units under me, but that depends. I might or might not have. Anyway, I will have the sales org. Now I know that what sales org I belong to. I have access to only those customers and those users. So I can plan visits for only my sales org users and my sales org customers. Now, when I go to all visits, I would see, since I have, access to kind of all the records here in all view, you will be, I mean, the admin would be able to see everything. However, uh, your admin is free to create, filtered views for particular sales or particular org units. So for now, the default one is org, all visits. And here you can create visits in certain different ways. All of these visits, type of visit creating follows different kind of flows and different kind of purpose. So today I think we will not go through everything. We will go through certain only till visit planning automatic, I guess. And job list planning and all we are doing next week. That's what I thought about. Okay. Mm. So now if I go to the here, I go to the what is this? Okay, there's a packages. So I don't. So I will go to the visits here. If you see these are recently viewed and then you would be seeing all visits. And here are some buttons: new job list planning, multiple new visits, advanced visit, trip list planning, view calendar, and visit planning. So I can do this new visit. So this is a kind of manual visit that an admin or a back office can create. It is just an ad hoc thing. I mean, any it is not a visit that is generally created for a month or for a week. For that, trip list or job lists are used. Say I am creating a visit for a particular user where I can kind of select different kind of record types. Now there are different record types here, but depending on your business process, your customer's business process, you may or may not use all. So if you use default visit and click on next, you would be able to see certain fields which are necessary for creating this visit. Definitely, you will have the day of the visit, I mean, the date of the visit, the start time, end time, or the duration of the visit. See, you have start time, end time. Okay, date, time, end time. Planning end time, see, it is not mandatory, but start time is mandatory. Okay, and then you will have to give definitely a place where you are visiting. What are you visiting? Are you visiting a location? Are you visiting a retail store? Are you visiting a certain just an address of an account? Are you visiting a contact point's address? So this is again something that you need to put on. These are the minimum requirements for this particular visit type. uh, but if you see, the account is there but it is not mandatory. So if you keep on using this visit type, you may not be able to pull up which account had how many visits and what orders were placed. Account wise you might not be able to do it because there definitely will be data missing. That is why you might be needing to go for some other visits. Now, delivery visit is for the visits. If you have specific visits, your organization has, your customer has specific visits only for delivery, order deliveries. So they have this kind of visits, people only for delivering orders, then you can use it definitely. And you see here the account is mandatory, which means you will be able to pick up, pull up some kind of reports based on the account. Again, you have planned start and end date. You have a check box called all day event, whether your plan start and end date is whatever your start time is, it is an all day event till your user finishes his day, the visit will continue. Again, the place is mandatory here. The same thing, I mean, it's like the same big list that it says. Now you will have some responsible people, some accountable people. Some your responsible people might be the sales rep or delivery rep who is delivering this, but accountable might be his manager. So you will have to select the data accordingly. There are some like mobility details, some reason code, some week, geolocation, latitude, longitude, depends on how much data your user or you want to, as a back office user, want to capture. So this is delivery visit. If you see the editable visit, we had used this one, for hours, and I think we had also added couple of fields. So if you use editable visit, again you see account is mandatory, which is kind of needed everywhere. You have visit template. This is not mandatory, but then it is good to use visit templates. It is recommended to always use visit templates. You see here planned start time and planned end time both are kind of required. These are the general visits, retail store visits that you will have, where the people will go and do all the visit activities like looking at the products, promotions, taking orders, and looking at the assets, everything. So this has a kind of time frame, and it might also be a all day event at certain scenarios. Um, Again, you have the place, you have the mobility details. Visit completed outside range, started outside range, etc. All of these are there, but these are not mandatory fields. Okay. So read only, I did not get why this was read only, because as an admin, I could definitely edit if I create any read only thing. But it might be that, other users will not be apart from the person who has access to all records, others might not be. So it looks like it is the same editable records, but it's the same. It holds the same fields, but it might be read only for certain users. But I will not be able to tell exactly what it does. So for us, we have just used the editable one, because that suffices. We do not have did not have a delivery visit. It all it is done in a same type of visit. So that's why. So it depends on what you do. Now, if you have a visit created, how it looks like. What is the time? Okay, 5 minutes time. Okay, so again, I mean, if you go to a visit record, so the name of the visit will be auto assigned by Salesforce. And this is how a visit record will look like. You will have the account, you will have the template where it is assigned. You will have a planned start time and end time. You will have the status, and you will have the person who is going to do it. And since I am the responsible person, I will have, or if I'm the manager of that person, I'll have this button. And then I can start a visit and then do many operations in the visit. Like I can view the questions that are part of this visit. And then I can also, ask those questions to the retail shop owner or whoever, like something like this, you know. So configuring these questions and all are also part of, your lessons would be. So this is a bit, I mean, visit planning and visit execution is a bit, complex. Execution is not that complex, because here you just do the things, like, you ask the person how he wants to answer it. Display has been built, yes or no. Selling material present, yes or no. Like that. What is the compliance of the, promotion? There are some predefined percentages which is there. So things like that, and then you have to save it. You can go to next pages for the questions. You can see that, uh, what are the questions for this kind of divisions for beverage freezer. What are the questions on this? So things like that you will have to, configure for particular visit. So this is view questions. Again, if you go and edit this visit, you will again go back to the visit visit form, where you had, created the visit for the first time, and you can again put or change things here. But don't you, I think when you start the visit, you wouldn't be able to do any edit if you click on start the visit. And then you will have certain other things to do, like if you have surveys that is there in the visit, if you Salesforce service, when I talk about service, Salesforce service, for many customers, service means questions. So if your customer only just have some questions and that could be done via questions, it is advisable that you don't use Salesforce survey, because it's just using different functionalities for no, for no purpose. Like our implementation, we have not used surveys, we have used questions. So instead of service. Next are like view promotions, view orders. You can create new orders from here. You can view assets from here. You can complete a visit from here. Why these things are given? Because in case a sales rep, when he is using his palm top device, if he is somehow, for some reason, not able to do these things on the go, because the expectation is that the sales rep will do it in his mobile device and the data will get synced. But in case this is a backup procedure, that when he comes back, he'll be doing this. Or when he comes back, he's going to give this Excel sheet or wherever he has noted down, he's going to give this to his back office, and back office would be, putting this into the system. So this is a backup thing. But you need to understand this from web perspective, and see that, if you plan a visit from web, it is going to also show up in the in a mobile, although the look and feel is different, but the data would be there. Again, when you go to view promotions, we would be see some, promotional data. I'm going back till it loads. Again, does it have? Yeah. So you have some products for which you have promotions. Okay. You can go to each promotion and see how it is done. What is each promotion says. What does I mean, what sales folders do you have? Sales folders have all the materials for, showing the promotions, mostly the literatures and the you know the pictures. So you will have those, and you have get directions. If you click on there, I do not see Salesforce Maps here, but yeah. So Google Maps, see. So google.com maps open here. Okay. So generally what is expected, that here Salesforce map will be installed, which I probably don't have here. Salesforce map. Yeah, it's not there. Map. Mm. So if you have a demo org from the partner portal, I think the map is already installed. But if you have it from, it is not here. So when I talk you about the maps, I'll show you some videos which we have to show you about the map. But anyway, sorry. But anyways, so this is how a visit looks like. Sorry, this is a visit. This is how a visit looks like, and you can delete a visit as a back office user or as a responsible user. You have been given that permission till the visit starts. So when it starts, you won't be able to. Then you have to have windows where you view the orders for this particular visit. If not, visit, but I think it is for the particular customer. You have the orders, and then you can create some new orders. You can view some assets also. Yeah. Hmm. See, for this particular customers, you have these orders already created, so you can view that, in the previous visits, I have created these orders, and those are the delivery dates, etc. Assets, okay, I have these refrigerators with this, particular account. Wherever I have come to visit, I have this kind of assets, and I'm going to look at those assets. You can register a new asset. You can add a asset audit, things like that you can do here. So and I think you can also disable few of these functions if you do not have assets, for your operations. Your company doesn't give any asset, you can remove the view assets. And then at the end, when your visit is done, you have to click on complete visit and things will be completed. You can take some notes. You will have activity tasks somewhere, and you can define some tasks here. You can add some tasks manually here. Yeah. So yeah, so this is how a visit looks like. Let me see where we have gone through. Hmm. Yeah. Right. So this is what I told, that you will have to, kind of set up the background of any kind of visit planning. And, before the master data, who are the users, where are the sales orgs and all, and some batch processes. This also you'll get in sales, in Salesforce help, that, what are the batch processes that is needed for you, because with the help of those batch processes certain records are created, and if those records are not created as a user, that sales rep will not be able to plan or execute those visits. And definitely you will have to set up some visit templates, customer visit settings, set up job list triplets, etc., to do all the. So now, today what I have shown you is this one, new visit planning, single one, not the multiple one. In the next session, it is already over the time today. So in the next session, we will start with visit template. We will not go through again the single visit planning. We will start from the multiple visits demo. Before that, we will do the visit template. Okay. So that is what is there for today. And I'm going to stop share. Yes, any question you have?
Ma'am, there was we, whenever you selecting a visit,
Hmm.
there was four options as I remember:
Hmm.
editable, read-only, and other two.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
those are visit record types, right?
Right, record types. And you can use or not use all of them as per your, requirement. You can add few fields even, for us, like I told you, for
Hmm.
my implementation, we have just used that editable one. And we
Acha.
have added couple of fields which we thought should be mandatory. We have put some, validation rules,
Hmm.
so you can do it accordingly. If your business says that their order delivery visits are completely different,
Hmm. Hmm.
then you can also keep the delivery visit and see, ask them what inputs do you take, what are the things uh, that your delivery rep does when they
Hmm.
do a delivery visit. So you can, kind of organize your delivery visit in that way. Your questions will be based on that delivery,
Hmm.
or you might not have any question while you are doing the delivery. Instead, you might have a survey. So things like that. So when you delve into the requirement of visit, you have to first find out how many types of visit your customer will have.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that's where we stop today. If you do not have any if you have any question, when you are doing the homework, you can
Hmm.
put it in the group. I'll try to see what it is and
Okay.
answer you on the next session, or maybe offline. We will see. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you. I'll stop the recording.